we are going to discuss how I got 35 million merits by playing only archers and I managed to only heal 1 million tier 4 wyverns, right? I basically have not healed a single tier 5 archer, and of course it was my biggest challenge which I have done in my Call of Dragons gameplay, which I have played this game for more than 1000 consecutive daily logins, right? Of course, we are also going to speak about new addition to the game, which is Crystal Buff Store. We are going to discuss all the buffs and which ones you should pick. And as you can see, I already made my choices, right? But at first, what's the most important is of course the merits which we got by playing only with archers, and as you can see, by playing marksman, being marksman main since the day one, I'm basically getting 35 million merits, 34.9 million merits by Archer gameplay. Of course, I want to share the build which made me this amount of merits, of course, because, well, if you missed the PvP gameplay of the channel, which I always post, then right now it's time for you to check out these hero pairs, right? Kinara and Musiang with the Rattle Spear. My Rattle Spear is just level 1, nothing really special. Kinara is awakened, she was my first ever hero which I managed to awaken, and Musiang is one of the latest additions to the account, right? Of course, the Warped will be Snowpeak Rock, and my Snowpeak Rock was my first ever Warped, which I managed to get the main talent tree to 3-star, which was a huge deal for me, right? So basically, this is the first March which I have been using this KVK. This is a control debuff March, which is going to apply a lot of slows, high counter attack damage, a little bit tanky because of the Musiang's healing, and basically main way for us to deal damage from this hero pair is by the skill damage, right? So yeah, that's the first March. Second March, Indi Centara with tier 4 wyverns, as you can see. Heart of Kamasi is level 2, and I'm using simple Sand Lizard. I have not spent basically anything on this Warped. It's just one of the free-to-play friendliest Warped which you can actually get in Call of Dragons, right? The third March, which is my strongest March in the game, which is Magrat and Zaida. Zaida is awakened. Magrat is 5551. And of course, we are having Gilded Crossbow, level 4 actually. This is the highest level I have the Archer artifacts out of all. Basically, all other Archer artifacts are maximum 3 levels actually. So yeah, one of my highest level artifact for archers. Of course, I wish to have it on level 5, but it's not that easy. One of the most precious warpeds in Call of Dragons is of course this Shadow Manticore, which I have spent highest amount of warped currency to make the Chain Strike 3-star, the Intense Chain Strike 3-star, and of course Barbarism is 3-star. Basically, this is the Warped, which is the reason why I have been getting more than 100k merits, basically almost every single time whenever I was fighting, right? So, yeah, not only Magrat and Zaida is amazing till this day, but also Shadow Manticore is doing his job, right? So, let's move to the 4th March. Falgrim and Nico. Nico is the basic hero, that's why Nico is awakened, and Falgrim is just 5-3-2-5, right? Maybe in the future I will have some time to awaken Falgrim, because I really appreciate the awakening skill of this hero, which is amazing if you are using Falgrim with the skill damage users, right? And Nico is a skill damage user offensive hero pair, right? The artifact which we have is Iron Tusk. I got the 3rd level on the latest video when I opened the Conqueror Artifact Compendium, which made me really happy. Maybe in the future I will be able to make it 5-star, but so far this is not the priority for my account, right? The Barbed Manticore is the latest Warped, which I managed to make the Puncture the main talent skill 3-star. Right now I started working on a Wind Whistle, right? Now, of course, this warped needs some more work. I will have to make Chain Strike at least 2-star, Intense Chain Strike at least 2-star, and Blood Roar at least 2-star. I'm still deciding if I have to put stars on Intense Puncture because my strengths is not really looking well, but maybe in the future I will have some extra warped currencies, and this will be the key. This will be the key, right? So yeah, this is the fourth hero pair for my Archer gameplay. Of course, I wish I had Awakened Fulgrim. This hero pair will do even more damage, right? The fifth hero pair which I have left is Ruby and Frygar. You might ask why Frygar? Because my Alan is not ready to be used. So basically, why this hero pair, why this style? I went for the extra normal attack playstyle instead of rage use, and if you have seen the latest merits which this hero pair have been doing, you would say, alright, Ruby and Frygar actually works pretty fine together, right? The artifact which is Roaring Rager, the newest artifact for the Archer gameplay, of course, and unfortunately I have it on level 1, but I will be honest, I'm really happy that I have the Roaring Rager even unlocked, right? So right now the priority is to make Gilded Crossbow level 5 and then maybe Iron Tusk, and the Roaring Rager might be the third choice in terms of investments for my current position on the account, and of course this hero pair still needs some more work, right? Now Wind Whistle is the warped which I have equipped on Ruby and Frygar. Of course, this is the warped which I'm currently working. And yeah, hopefully we are going to make the Northwind 3-star soon, but it will of course take some time because I only have like 500 experience, but I'm really happy that I managed to get maximum amount of slots for this Archer Warped, and at least luck and agility is looking really fine. Of course, I would love to have strengths on S tier also, but you can't really say anything bad whenever we are speaking about luck, whenever you are regenerating, right? So yeah, this is basically my 5 Archer marches, which made me generate 35 million merits with only resource healing 1 million tier 4 wyverns, right? Of course, when we speak about the hero pairs, we always have to mention the talent trees which I have been using. So for first hero pair, like Inara's talent tree, which I have been using, is this one. For this KVK, maybe I will change something in the future, and if I will do, I will be more than glad to actually showcase, right? I went for the control talent tree with the Cyclone Seal and Reticent, of course, and on the Marksman tree, I went for the Bullseye, right? PvP talent tree is also viable. I tried it a couple of KVKs ago, but right now it's time for me to try more control, and I'm pretty happy with this talent tree so far, right? The next one, which is Indis and Tara. Indis is primary hero there, and I'm gonna show you the Indis talent tree. Of course, I went for the maximum support talent tree with the healing, Flock of the Blessing, Force Field, and on the overall I went for the Spirited Response. This is the talent tree which I have been using on Indies for a while already for the open field PvP. Hopefully it will be useful for you also, right? The next one was Magrat and Zaida, and Magrat is the primary hero on that hero pair. I went for the Mark of the War. This was my first KVK when I actually tried it instead of the Mighty Slash, and I can honestly say that Mark of the War have been performing even better than Mighty Slash. I think 20 seconds is too much if you don't have too much synergies with the extra normal attacks. That's why I believe Mark of the War is more consistent, right? I went for the Invisible, of course, and on the Marksman tree, I went for the Bullseye for some extra attack increase for our archers. The fourth hero pair which we had was Fulgrim and Nico. Fulgrim was the primary hero, and this is the talents for the Fulgrim and Nico hero pair. I went for the Caged Animal, the best talent for skill users for archers. I went for the Spirit of the Rage, of course, we want to get as much rage as possible on Fulgrim. And I went for the Army of Whaler, the PvP talent tree. The last KVK I was a Bullseye, but this time I'm trying out Army of Whaler, and I think it's been a pretty successful run with this talent tree. So check it out. It might be helpful for your Archer gameplay. The last March which I showed was Ruby and Freygar, and Ruby was primary hero, right? Of course, I went for the precision talent tree. In this case, I went for the Mighty Slash. Maybe next KVK I will try Mark of the War, but actually getting Mighty Slash on Ruby makes even more sense because Ruby has a lot of synergies with extra normal attack triggers, so why not every 20 seconds? We might throw extra normal attack from the Ruby, which will have a pretty nice synergies with the first skill, fourth skill, and also awakening skill of the Ruby, right? So yeah, I showed you all the talent trees for my Archer hero pairs, which I have been using, and of course the results have been pretty good, right? As I promised, we are of course going to speak about the Crystal Buff store. Since the KVK is basically done, we are soon going to be teleported back home, and this is the new addition to the game. You are basically spending these Yggdra crystals to the store, and you are activating the buffs for 30 days while you will be in home realm, right? And trust me, the buffs are pretty amazing, especially for home realm gameplay, right? Of course, you have a legendary buffs, we have epic buffs, and we have normal rare buffs. The price is different, the percentages of the buffs are different, so you have to choose wisely, right? Basically, every single buff is same buffs, every single tier, just different numbers, and that's what makes the difference between rare, epic, and the legendary buffs, right? So I already, as you can see, I already made some purchases because I feel like these ones are the best ones. Of course, I will share my ideas. If you will like it, use it. If not, you can always choose yours, right? So the buffs are like this. The resource gathering while your city is in its home realm, gathering speed increased by 10%, which is nice. The second buff, while your city is in this home realm, elixir production speed is increased by 8%, scales with total unused owned. Daily elixir production is increased by 150k. This is the third buff. The darkness discipline, SP recovery speed increased by 10%. We move forward. Warrant capacity is increased by 3. And the last one, merits earned in the Battle Abyss are increased by 30%. Battle Abyss daily maximum is 200k, right? So, in my opinion, the best possible buffs which you can actually get from here, gathering speed, whenever you are inside your home realm, of course, most of the time you are actually gathering. There is maybe a 1 hour period when you are fighting against Darklings or doing some quests or doing some events. Other than that, you are basically farming, so why not getting resource gathering? Of course, try to get it legendary, you will have higher percentage, right? The next buff which I got is elixir production speed. I always remember that whenever you are inside the home realm, you don't have the policies, so production increase for the elixir will be valuable for your gameplay, even for some I don't know, Darkling fights, or maybe your alliances are having some events where you have to spend your troops and you have to heal them faster, right? I chose to not go to the daily elixir production increase. I believe if you are playing the game, percentage is more valuable. I did not go for the SP recovery speed because I'm already tier 5 player. If you are tier 4 and you have to collect arrows and treaties, I believe this one will be a pretty nice choice because more SP you will have, more ways to spend it on Darklings and forts, and that's the ways how you can actually get arrows and treaties. One of the best buffs which you can actually get from here is Pet Pursuit. You are basically getting 3 extra warrants to capture your war pets, and of course this is the highest value buff from this crystal buff store which we actually got a couple of days ago, right? So I believe this one is the mandatory one. everybody should actually get and get this one as a legendary one, right? Because epic one will give you just 2 warrants and the normal one will just give you 1. So legendary has the highest value. I did not really go for the Abyssal Lord because I'm not really fan of the Battle of Abyss. But if you are the type of player who are constantly playing Battle Abyss and getting merits like that, then it will be a nice choice for you to choose this one, right? But you should always remember you are only able to have 3 types of buffs from here, right? And as you can see, I went for the Gathering, I went for the Elixir Production Speed, and I went for the Warped Warrants. Maybe you would say I don't want Gathering Speed and you will go for the Abyssal Lord. It's your decision. I'm just sharing my opinion and I'm sharing what I actually did for my account, right? So yeah, pretty exciting news for the home realm. I really like the pet pursuit thing because I believe when players were going to home realm, it was basically a wasted time because like no hospital, well, catching only 2 warpeds per day, and you are basically only waiting and waiting until new KVK will start, right? So yeah, that's the crystal buff store, which hopefully will be helpful for everybody. It's really important to choose the correct buffs, right? And yeah, yet another KVK is done. We got a new record, 35 million merits. Of course, I will try my best to make it even more next KVK, and hopefully you guys will be with me to actually capture those moments, right? As always, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, press like, subscribe and share. It always gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. I wish everybody an amazing day, morning and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye and good luck.